And apparently, normal methods of treating monsters are outdated on him for some reason because they needed some kind of plot to get Dr. Snap here. I'm not sure. Anyway, time for me to actually navigate this place. Yeah, story. Exhilarating, isn't it? Let's see what the default name names him. Bow Wow! Wow. Incredible name. Now, this is the only monster you actually get through the storyline, and it's incredibly powerful for a long period of time. The strongest monster that you can find for a long period of time. But the only real downside to it is that it makes the game really boring. So I'm going to try to avoid using it. If you have all your monsters killed within a battle, then that's it. It's not like you switch to your substitutes or anything. You lose the battle. Now, I can fuse these two if I wanted to, but I'm not sure I want to, since most of the monsters I can fuse are to just stupid F-rank monsters, and I'd lose one of my best attackers, so I might want to hold off just for a little while. Now, when you fuse monsters, you have to fuse monsters that are either two different charges, I guess that's what you would call them, or a charge and a neither. I'm uncertain whether or not you can fuse two neithers, but once you fuse a monster, you have to at least get them level 10, or else you can't fuse them. You get to basically choose what skills they had from, they get to keep from out of the skills that the previous two monsters had, and you can, I think you have to keep the one that they have by default. I don't think you have to keep the boost, but I think you usually have to keep what they give. It's been forever since I played this game, so none of this stuff is fresh in my head. I actually have the real copy of this game because it looked interesting. It's It's pretty fun. It's not really that hard to understand since it's basically like any monster capturing slash training RPG. And I forgot to show you my party again. Well, everyone is watching it. But I should really get to that before I forget again. With all that long dialogue pertaining to the plot in some way. Now level 10. Now level 11. And level 8. He has a leather whip, which, as you probably noticed, allows you to attack all monsters, but the whips don't have very high attack power. And since most monsters in this period have around 30 or more HP, its effectiveness comes into question sometimes. The one really nice thing about this, and I'm not sure whether or not I've covered this before, is that you don't really have to plan out your moves on every move, well, except for boss battles. You can give your monster certain tactics, and then they'll fight according to what tactics you give them. Like right now, Draki and Molar are on basically fight all out, and they'll use as much MP and their best attacks as possible to try to kill the enemy as fast as possible, while the Heal Slime Mr. Heal is on, well, basically keep everyone healed. So once someone's HP like drops by 10-ish or so, he'll usually throw them a heal. If that's the proper term of healing someone other than yourself. I find a lot of the magic in this game to be oddly named. Zap, Frizz, Crackle, all that stuff. Or Fizzle, Fizz, Fizzle, Kafizzle. Some of them are pretty direct, too, like, obviously heal and buff. I really should have bought, actually, items before I went in here. Well, in an attempt to get actually commentary, it probably is obvious to everyone now that monsters are basically split up into types. There's ones who use magic, there's ones who attack, and then there's ones who heal. It should be obvious what they all do. But some monsters are pretty hard to classify what type they are, just simply because of some of their skills are rather weird, should I say. That's kind of putting it lightly. And others just have skill sets that make no sense based on what stats they get. Some of them get these basically there's a lot of them that basically just give you status effects and stats changers. Which really isn't to say that it's a bad thing all the time, but